Hi, hello, welcome to the Daily Tarot Buffet brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Zablosi. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the transiting moon into Capricorn. If you're new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. You belong, so welcome home. It's a delight and an honor and a privilege to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the pleasure to do so. If anything that is said here today resonates deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button. During Gemini season, when a planet is moving through the sign of Capricorn, we're actually having an eighth house event. So the event itself right now is a lunation, which means lunar event, the moon. And when there's a lunar event, we're having increased insight and intuition into the area of the eighth house. So it's kind of like the battleground or where things are confronted. So it's those last ditch efforts or the ones that dig in deep. If it's natural and natal, and in terms of its energy, where it kind of resides and belongs or likes to be, it would be deep confrontations, things that are evocative, things that are visceral, but usually nothing is as it's supposed to be again. So it's going to be happening according to the energy of Capricorn. So Capricorn and Scorpio do well with each other because they're both kind of looking for leverage. And it might not be to control external. It might be just to make sense of things, to feel comfortable with things, to feel safe with things, even. Oftentimes it's self-control, which, hey, who doesn't need that as long, everything in moderation, including moderation. So there's going to be a little bit of power struggles. There's going to be a little bit of power structures as well. And they may be about shared resources or um, needs that we get from other people. There may also be some kind of energy related to others in terms of those on the periphery or those that are like secondary beneficiaries. That's what I'm getting. Now, it's also the month of Gemini. So we're learning about our intellect, reasoning, communication. We're learning about our skills, our craft, maybe our talent, our abilities. We're learning about a couple few different things right now. There's also this energy of something guarding the door, guarding the gate, watching our road. Something was is feeling cruel or bitter because perhaps it was cut off or told no. We're also going to begin to see those who might have had power and were ruling behind the scenes. And it's not always like the power that we think of. It might be that they're able to say no about something, or they're able to slow something down, or somebody maybe asked them for an opinion, and they weren't, glowing in their opinion. They actually kind of got to that lower vibration gossip or slander. Or so we're also going to begin to see where people that have been harboring maybe betrayal or dissent or malintent towards us, some of those things are either going to dissipate or we won't know, or some of those things are going to deliver an alert, an alarm. We're going to see where the roads kind of lead or where the connections kind of made. And it may be retroactive or it may be retrospective, meaning it may trigger things according to what happened some time ago, or it may be how things are today and what was going on back then. Retrospective, a review of the past, retroactive, something from the past triggers something going on right now. So it's going to be different strokes for different folks. It's the same energy. However, if we're at a crossroads of some kind, and there is a little bit of baneful intent coming back in. Something's trying to come through, pull through, come hard, come harder. They want to make sure they still have some kind of power. Now, power is multitudinous and multiversal here. It's not always agreed what the definition is, but it's the ability to influence another. If something's coming through, pulling through, like literally something crossing us or coming towards us or on the path that we're going to come across. And it's something we're having to deal with at a time in our life when we were unhealed, unawakened, or a time in our life when we were dealing and holding space and participating, all of those, dealing, holding space, and participating with someone, something that was unhealed, unawakened, unevolved, essentially, unascended. They may have been living in sin. There may have been some illusion, delusion, confusion, some mask of glamour or mirror or facade. There may have even been a little bit of gaslighting where we had disposed ourselves of our own power, or it was attacked in some kind of way, shape, sense, or another. There may have been seizing, exploitation. Ultimately, it was a karmic lesson. We're going to lay 4 cards from the This Might Hurt Tarot by Isabella Rotman. She's over at Liminal 11 for this deck. I don't know if she has other decks or anything like that, but this deck is at that publishing house. And we're gonna lay 4 cards. We're gonna lay a lot more, dear, but this will be the overall energy, the core energy before we clarify and modify, etc., so on, and what have you. I'm leaning in a different weird position because the cat keeps getting up here. She's like, I don't know, she's paying a lot of attention right now. So we're gonna lay these 4 cards, which are the Ace of Swords Death card, Six of Wands, and the Five of Wands. Again, Ace of Swords, Death, Six of Wands, Five of Wands, Ace of Swords, Death, Six of Wands, Five of Wands, Ace of Swords, Death, Six of Wands, Five of Wands. Now, this is one of the Brainful Brigade, and it's the tertiary. So it's not the main 3. It's like maybe, probably, kind of, sort of, probably, maybe, possibly not, that kind of energy. Pardon me, I'm just confused what the feline's doing. Ace of Swords is truth. It also is an edict. It's also a declaration. It can be declared decree. It can't just be the truth, clarity coming through. In respect to this death card, Morte is the Lord of Karma. It's the Lord Yama. It can be Ampu, Anubis, all of that. It's a cycle pump, but it's really a Lord of Karma, Lord of Time. And this is saying that, okay, in our lower self, we're probably already in this position that's exalted and esteemed, and it was divine. We were kind of exalted in some kind of way. This is receiving 6 glory, the wand. But right now, we're in some type of karmic lesson. That's one thing. Another thing is because I am getting this lately, sometimes a person will have a whole loaf of bread and we'll have just a one little slice, but still they'll be feeling some kind of way. And those times when a person is doing better than we're doing and they're still worried about us, it means that there's something debilitated in them. It might be decaying. Because when somebody new is on the scene and they're coming up against a seasoned player, that person shouldn't bear no interest, bear no mind. Like a real hoe with something going on is not gonna worry about what another hoe got going on. And why am I using that word Heaux? It's because there's some kind of emotional warfare or studying and flossing and something like that, because it's an emotional game. It's almost like they want to beat us in the heart chakra, you know? So, and I'm saying like that because it's all about stooping to the level. Five of Wands is bottom of the barrel. Five of Wands is bottom. Baba's working to him. Baba, Five of Wands is the bottom of the barrel. It's almost like they want us to get to their level, and they may be conundrums, crossing, competitions, gestation. Something might be compounding in terms of karma. It may be cascading or cacophony. It's just not all those. It's not all of the above because it would be 10 in that case. This is still some type of lesson that we could come out of. And honestly, I think we need to get up from the table. We need to walk away. And it's not one of those love's not being served thing, 8 of Cups. It's more like this is not a place where we could compete. If we're a cheetah running 60 to 70 miles an hour and we're in a race with a bunch of greyhounds running 25 to 30 miles an hour, it's not a fair fight. It's not apples to oranges. You've got to compare to compete. And the thing is that whatever's there, it doesn't compare. So it shouldn't compete. And I keep hearing that word HEA, whole, the whole word. Um, I don't talk about wanton, lewd, and lascivious in that nature. It's literally saying there's some type of emotional warfare. It's the precursor to witchcraft, okay? Because there's this energy here trying to repress, suppress, oppress, depress. It's almost like they don't want us to lean into our own truth. And with this eighth house, I am going to talk about other people, but I'll also say, because already it's here. I would say we might have the baneful brigade, and the moon is definitely it. With the strength card, I'm suspect, especially with this five here. The death card and the moon is a light at the end of the tunnel. Them coming out before this nine of wands, it says that, you know, over these next 2 weeks, we're going to see what's been going on for the last week or for the last month, either or. There was this energy entity ideology trying to repress us in some way, make us deny our own truth. We are now driving our life forward, expanding our life according to intellect, reason, and communication. We may have just recently found some technical skill, or people might have tried to repress us or repel our existence from whatever environment, surrounding location because of our technical skill. And it might have been improperly applied, or it might not have been something that we were owning. We had this thing that we weren't owning, but everybody else kind of saw it. The enemy often knows about our assets and our talents and our abilities before we do. I'm going to say it to us this way. Sometimes the enemy believes in us more than we believe in ourselves. That's why they're coming for us like that. That's why they gotta be like that. But something's going to be revealed, not just our strength, courage, and wisdom, our serenity, strength, card, our emotional fortitude, but there's going to be some type of hidden agenda, ulterior motive. Four of Swords, Eight of Swords. Yeah, the universe is arraigning things. We have a lot of karmic law here. The Lord of Karma, the Death card. We have the Sovereigns of the Universe, the World card. The World card and the Death card. The thing about the World card, its attendant is the Death. So it's almost like the hand of God is here. Because now we're in this Queen of Pentacles. That's somebody who's adept in their practical skill, or they're feeling or needing security. And there's no corresponding pentacles here, so that's exactly what it is. There's nothing here to negate other than it can be a sorceress with this moon, but I need to see some other wands because the moon and the pentacles go together. They're opposing signs. Like everything has a partner energy. So this moon and the Empress, I mean, okay, accidental. This moon and the Queen of Pentacles is actually saying, oh, somebody here might be a Virgo moon. To a different degree, there's like some kind of Gemini rising. They have a Pisces midheaven. So they project their whatever onto others, and the road is blocked. They're coming up. Okay, so we definitely have the sovereign of the universe. There is some type of celestial adjudication, deliberation here, judgment, hermit. It's confirmed for Virgo moon, by the way. Ten of Pentacles, Emperor. Yeah, so we actually possess sovereignty. We're self-possessed, self-governed, self-managing, and that's a threat to somebody because they had some throne or seat in the dark, and us being present illuminates their underhanded, backhanded ways. Their orchestrations, machinations collapse or fail in our presence. Coming into our field is a reckoning, and this is something in general or with a specific person. We're starting out with this truth coming. It might be an edict, it might be understanding our supreme authority. It's going towards a transition, irrevocable transition, death. On the way, we deal with a little bit of repulsion because there's some type of exalted seat here. In the spiritual, we are whole, but That's something that's well known to others and not to us. This is an energy that can cater to the expertise of exalted individuals, and for some reason that's failing when it comes to us. Our energy field itself doesn't work. And I should show my work. This is the individual that creates dominion. Six of Wands moon, that's the dark dominion, principality probably. And they cater, Ten of Pentacles, to the expertise of others, hermit. Ten of Pentacles is Mercury in Virgo, and we have Virgo, the hermit here. So another thing to say is that this person may have their Mercury in the sign of Virgo or the sixth house, which means that they go down the road to pretty deeply to getting technical skills, technical knowledge, refinement. They're very particular about how things are done and when they're done. And we come in with our serenity, Emperor. We come in with our knowing, Emperor. We come in high, high, high on the totem pole. Emperor combined with a hermit. That's a senior ranking elder, a senior ranking priest. It could even be, if it's a institutional system like a university, this is at least the chair of the department, if not some type of higher rulership, a section chair or something like that. Because the Six of Wands also talks about like a coveted seat. Usually it's the chair or the lead or the senior. Something was announced in the background and it was held in place. Four of Swords judgment with the strength. Something was said like, oh, we're gonna apply this type of power to the situation behind the scenes, moon. To the person they're applying it to is us. 501, we were seen as criminal or demonic. We were seen as too much and not enough. So our energy was too hard to handle, and we didn't have enough performative respectability politics, essentially. Tone policing, compassion, baiting, individuality shaming, concern trolling. We wouldn't play the little game. And so something here felt the need to teach us a lesson, to impose some type of unnecessary and unauthorized, unsanctioned control. And what's happening right now is we got a lot of strength in us. We got a little fight left even. And something here is being arrested, suspended. It's coming under terms and conditions of something that's already in order. It's not just being processed, it's already making its way through. Eight of Swords has already kind of been processed a little bit. So we have an Ace of Pentacles, Two of Cups, Knight of Cups, King of Swords, Page of Swords, Hierophant. Exactly as I thought. There is some type of institutional thing going on. And if it is an institutional, there's definitely hierarchy or something that's organized. It could be a clique, coven, cabal. I'm getting different departments here. I'm not sure where that thread was. But we got a lot going on here. We have Aquarius energy with the strength and the Page of Swords. That would mean Venus in Aquarius, Venus in the eighth house, Venus in the seventh house. Same with Libra. Libra descendant, which would mean Venus on the seventh house in the sign of Libra, Aries rising. It could mean Venus in the seventh house again, because that's the natural house. There's also some kind of delayed message. There's an energy here that wants to make us do things a certain way. Hierophant, King of Swords. It's policy, procedure, and protocol, system, structures, foundations, status quo, going by the book, coming correct even. And they are the ones with what they think it's some type of power, but it's institutional or structured power. Hierophant, King of Swords. We might have something naturally in us, Page of Swords. We might have supreme authority when their authority is given by doctrine. Our authority is given to us by the divine. Knight of Cups. We woke up like this. We were born this way. Plus, we move authentically. Nine of Cups. We come from the heart. At a cup, two cups, we desire bond, union. We desire to be on the same page. It's not coming here. We're scrutinizing that there's no love, and they're thinking, okay, well, we have this little system, we have this little structure, we have this little piece of paper. Okay, okay, that's relevant to you. Peace be upon you. That's relevant to you. Blessings on your path. That's relevant to you. I like that for you. I'm over here doing my thing. Excuse me, please. Queen of Pentacles, Hierophant, that could be a Taurus moon to a lesser degree. It could be an Aquarius rising. Somebody has their South Node or North Node in Libra. Another person has it in Aquarius. So one person is status seeking and the other one wants things to be fair, but they haven't been able to reconcile their feelings. Where they really don't like the fact that they think that we don't like them, or they think that they can't get through to us, that we're oppositional for some reason. But what really is happening is they're being confronted with our sovereignty, and they don't know how to process that because they're out in the secular world and we're over here in the divine, in the spiritual. So that's not our fault. That's not our problem. It's for them to deal with. Okay, well, that was the Queen of Swords. This is the Ace of Swords. Okay. What I said is what I said. We've been moving slow. It might have taken us a while to get to where we are. We might still be on the path to starting to use this technical skill. We might not have found a place for that in the world right now. We do need other people's buy-in or something of that nature. They feel that there's a very clean way to go. And they also think that the only thing that's going to comfort them is by restricting or restraining us. They're not going to let us in if we don't act a certain way. So if we're not dealing with another person, which we are, I'm just going to say it this way. If we don't want to worry or we can't pinpoint who this person is, because people do fight us behind the scenes. A lot of times we'll look at a person, they couldn't, they would never. Sometimes it's happening in the spirit. Sometimes there's a demon on their back we'll never be able to discern. Okay. Secondly, it's not about other people. It's about us standing in our strength, not being powerful, not being strong, not popping up at the mouth and making sure people act right. Sometimes though we're seen as a threat because we're individual. We don't go to the sources of power that other people do. We don't feel safe and secure because of a degree or because of a book or because of what everybody around us is saying. We feel good because of our connection with the divine or our knowledge of the self, and we're self-governing, self-managing, self-guided, self-secure. So that also makes them concerned because there's nowhere to control us. But the need to control talks about something, and sometimes that's necessary. Sometimes you have a sacred oath or a sacred office and sacred duties to uphold, and everybody needs to be bound at least to their oath. They need to be bound at least to their vow. But this is something about ego. If we're not dealing with anybody else, when people do come towards us, they don't know what to do with our energy. We're too powerful, we're too scary. They don't know how to navigate, negotiate. They don't know how to show up and remain present and participate. They don't have no precise, particular, present, or crystallized, concrete challenge to say this is have this overarching energy. Oh, okay, I didn't like that. Oh, okay. It's because we make them confront the institutions they take refuges when they haven't taken refuge in the divine. Vertex, and this is the Galactic Temple of Ascension. Deliver. I'm preaching over here because I don't want to bother baby girl. Hey, sweetheart. This is Priestess Chandi, by the way, if you haven't met her. This is we're gonna be using the minor arcana from Cosmic Coven Tarot. That's all at Ripe Avocado, and it's by Lillian Lazenby. Okay, so we're using this to clarify and deliberate the findings on anything that's repeating, whether it's a triple this or a pair of this or la-di-da, yada yada. We have a pair of knights here. But for some reason, the page is talking to me a lot. So we'll check that in the different deck that we'll use, the Vela Sibila. But let's look at these knights right now. We have Four of Wands. So we could have been on the same page. This could have been us, but we've been playing games here. The overall energy is the Four of Wands. It's about a sacred seat. It's about a spot, a seat at the table. Queen of Swords, though, is the combined energy. We're committed to being estranged because they are Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups with the Four of Cups is that they feel a connection, but they don't know what it is. They don't know how to navigate, negotiate it because they're overwhelmed. They're going through a lot of feeling. If there's a higher realm energy, it would be Six of Cups with the Four of Wands. That means that we've received anointing in some kind of way, or somebody else is looking at us as a child. Queen of Cups, Six of Cups. So we are pulling from a different source. That's what this is saying. And it's creating a little bit of a conflict, of a challenge. And we have a pair of aces here. Okay. So the pair of aces is what we just read, and we're really reading on this pair of knights, but I'll read both for both. This other side that we're dealing with, it came out face down. If we're dealing with another party, if we're not dealing with another party, it will be a lesser self or former self. They're thinking that we have all this great promise that they could just lead us and make us act or be a certain way. They're trying to tame us in some kind of way. I think they're trying to make us more palatable, maybe to them or maybe in general. Because the shared energy is, again, this Four of Wands. There's a spot, whether it's a union, communion, partnership, Four of Wands, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a seat at the table. We need to be more palatable and we're not. So we'll be using Vita Sibilla to deliberate the findings any type of correlative or corresponding energy. We got a lot of that. I want to know what the judgment with the Four of Swords is. That's a celestial courthouse. Message about the other side. Yeah, there's this hope, wish, prayer, dream, aspiration, heart's desire, but they're going to learn and mature and realize, okay, so yeah, whether it's our former self or our lower self or another person, this energy thinks, oh, okay, well, if I could show them, if I could just, if I could just, if I could just, if I could just, when they're gonna come to at the end, at the very end, to learn that we've always been better than what they thought we were. Okay, that's too much for me, man. I'm overwhelmed here. Okay, so a lot of cards fell out here. Wow. So whether there was this nurturing and there was complaints about their desire to nurture us, when really the thing that they were nurturing was actually better than them. So what they really wanted to do is they wanted to lead and to guide and to motivate or mentor the promise that we had, that we represented. But in reality, we were their medicine, and their medicine was an ego death. Frankly, they're seeing now just what kind of access they have to us, and they're thinking about the connection that we had and realizing that if something like this comes around in the future, they're going to do better. But the thing is that if they acted this way, they're karmically cursed. They're never going to come across better ever, ever. They're going to be wanting, hoping, wishing, praying, conjuring up some wounding and longing from the past. They're never again ever going to get next to an energy like us because they didn't do anything good with it the first time. God don't mess about his chosen. That's what's up, especially Six of Wands here. They were chosen to help us in some kind of way, shape, form, or another, but they fought with us. And it doesn't matter if we're not dealing with another person or not. We came across an environment around a location that basically started to fight with the own blessing. And what we got out of it was self-governance, self-mastery. I want to know what the Nine of Cups, Two of Cups is, because I think we are love, or we were trying to give love if we're dealing with another person, and that's not what happened. They are moving in secret. Yeah. See, they saw what this energy was is we were some potentiality, some kind of promise, but they couldn't get on the level. And instead of being self-reflective, okay. So we have this Two of Cups with the Hermit. I want to see what that is, because the Hermit works like the twos. So something here was loyal, fidelity. Yeah, but they got trapped. They're stuck. So this former self or whatever is stuck. When we grew, when we blossomed, that's a misalignment of a life path. That's what happens when you're like that. So something's over here with the Judgment and the, okay, Landomuka. So we were seen as some kind of not viable, not nothing to be around, but really is that we moved in ways that people couldn't understand. They didn't know how to get on our ship. They didn't know how to work with our energy, but they never really asked for what they wanted. So what that means is that they would have been able to do it if they had come in earnest, but they didn't. They were doing reeky deeky sneaky tweaky things, and they were future placing, which means they had some kind of strategy, agenda, or whatever. And that's what happened. They didn't get what they wanted because they had an agenda. They didn't come at us the right way. So it's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for, oh, we got a lot more to do. I overlooked it. See, I want to know what the strength card with the Six of Wands is. Yeah, we're unshakable. Nothing ever was ever going to take us down. Nothing, not, no, nothing. But we did have to go through an ego death because of the contriviality. We refused to be performative. What is this Queen of Pentacles with? It feels like a Taurus moon with the Hierophant. Could also be a Virgo moon. Okay, so Virgo moon hit. They wanted to steal our destiny. Whether they knew it or not, it's because we had promise and they had ego. So something here was intentional, but not all of it, because there's differences for different folks. If if something was intentional, we didn't know what the other side wanted. And if something wasn't intentional, the other side, if there was, didn't know who we were. This was a message about institutional ignorance. And us coming through, coming out of a situation that gave us self-mastery and self-governance, while someone else, or something else, because it could have been our former self, was vying for a status. What happened is we've been tested in the fire and we came out deserving. We now have nutrients and creativity because we've cultivated ourselves, really, while something else cultivated entitlement, and now they're just left with their ego. It's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me to do so. I want to say a quick prayer for all those still lost out there to illusion, delusion, confusion, lost in the seeds of time, trapped somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to the resplendent grace of the divine, unconditional love and universal oneness. And upon whom we love you, we're sorry, please forgive us. Thank you. We pray that your steps are ordered, your path illuminated, and that you find salvation and redemption in this lifetime. May you be well, may you be happy, may you be whole, may you be at peace, may you receive everything you ever wanted, starting with what you deserve. Until we meet again, until we read again, namaste, Nava, and Ashe. Sayonara, Svidanya, Avida Zane. Take good care and smash that like button. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.